Have you ever stopped to think about it? You take that first amazing bite of pizza, and bam, an incredible chain reaction kicks off inside your body. It's a journey, really, a journey from a tasty treat to the actual energy that's keeping you going right now. So let's follow that bite, shall we? We're going to trace that entire journey, step by step, to really get a handle on the amazing process our body uses to turn food into fuel. It's this super complex, coordinated system, and we're going to break it all down. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the path our food takes. Then, we'll see how it all gets broken down. After that, we'll learn how all the good stuff gets absorbed and connect that to how we get energy from the air we breathe. And finally, we'll take a quick peek at how other animals get the job done. Okay, let's start right at the beginning. The best way to think about your digestive system is like one long, continuous factory assembly line. It is perfectly designed to process everything you eat. And this whole pathway, it actually has a name. It's called the alimentary canal. This is the main stage for our story, a tube that runs right through you, where the entire drama of digestion unfolds, from start to finish. So here's the bottom line. The food we eat, doesn't matter if it's rice or meat or veggies, it's made of really complex stuff like carbohydrates and proteins. And our bodies, well, they just can't use them like that. They have to be broken down into simpler, usable building blocks. And that is the number one job of digestion. All right, let's move on and see how this breakdown actually gets started. The first few stops on this disassembly line are all about taking big pieces and making them smaller, both by, mashing them up and using chemicals. It all kicks off in the mouth with chewing and saliva. From there, the food gets pushed down the esophagus and into the stomach, where it's basically churned around and mixed with some seriously powerful digestive juices. Each step is just prepping the food for the next stage. What's so cool about this is that you can actually experience it for yourself. Seriously, try it sometime. If you chew on a piece of plain bread or some rice for like a minute, you'll start to notice it tastes sweet. That's not magic. That's your own saliva starting the chemical breakdown of complex starches into simple sugars right there in your mouth. So how does food get from your mouth down to your stomach, even if you're hanging upside down? It's all thanks to this amazing wave-like muscle contraction called peristalsis. The walls of your food pipe just gently squeeze and relax, pushing that food right along on its journey. And get this, the way we even learned about how the stomach works is a wild story. For the longest time, it was a complete mystery. Then, purely by accident, a guy named Alexis St. Martin got a gunshot wound that never fully healed, leaving a little hole right into his stomach. A doctor, William Beaumont, was able to literally watch digestion happening in real time. It completely changed our understanding of the human body forever. Just incredible. Okay, so after the stomach, our partially digested food moves into the most critical part of the whole journey, at least for absorbing nutrients. Welcome to what I like to call the body's nutrient superhighway. So, how long do you think the small intestine actually is? Take a guess. The answer is pretty staggering. It's about 6 meters, or nearly 20 feet long. That is almost twice the height of a typical classroom, all coiled up inside you. So why on earth is it so long? Well, it's all about surface area. The inside isn't smooth at all. It's covered in millions of these tiny, finger-like projections. This design is so brilliant, it increases the surface area so much that if you could somehow lay it all out flat, it would cover an entire tennis court. This just gives your body the absolute maximum opportunity to absorb all those vital nutrients into your bloodstream. And here's a neat way to see the difference between the two intestines. You've got the small intestine, the long one, which is all about absorbing nutrients. Then you have the large intestine, which is much shorter, about 1.5 meters, but it's wider. Its main gig is to absorb the leftover water from the undigested food before, it's eliminated. Okay, so the nutrients are now in your blood, cruising around your body. But how do they actually become energy? Well, that needs the final piece of the puzzle, and that piece comes from the air you breathe. Now, this is a really common point of confusion, so let's clear it up. Breathing and respiration are not the same thing. Breathing is just the physical act, in with the oxygen, out with the carbon dioxide. Respiration, on the other hand, is the chemical reaction happening deep inside your cells that uses that oxygen to unlock the energy stored in your food. And this right here, this is basically the formula for life. The simple sugar from your food, called glucose, combines with the oxygen you breathe, this chemical reaction is what releases the energy that powers everything you do, and it leaves behind carbon dioxide and water as the leftovers. And hey, we can actually prove this is happening. There's a simple experiment. If you bubble the air you exhale through something called lime water, it turns all milky. That's a classic chemical test for carbon dioxide. But if you do the same thing with just regular room air, not much happens. It's clear proof that our bodies are producing that carbon dioxide as part of the process. So, we humans use lungs, but the need for oxygen is universal for so many living things. To wrap things up, let's just take a look at how other animals have evolved some different and frankly amazing solutions to the very same problem.
It's really a fantastic display of adaptation. You've got land animals like us, birds and cows, we all have lungs, that makes sense. But in the water, fish use these specialized gills to pull dissolved oxygen right out of the water itself. Then you get amphibians like frogs, which are just incredible. They can use lungs on land and breathe through their moist skin when they're in the water. And earthworms? They just use their skin for the whole shebang.
So, when you put it all together, you see it's not just one system, but two: the digestive and the respiratory systems working in perfect harmony. From that very first bite of food all the way to energy being released in every single one of your cells, it's all part of one continuous, incredible, coordinated journey. And this isn't some new discovery. The idea that good digestion is critical for our overall health is ancient wisdom. Texts like the Charaka Samhita were talking about this centuries ago, highlighting just how important good food and good digestion are for a healthy life. So the next time you take a bite of pizza or anything else, just take a second to remember this incredible journey. Your body is this perfectly coordinated system working for you 24/7. So the only real question left is, what can you do to help it along the way?